Welcome back to the channel. Racer X here, and today I want to talk about the future of American performance cars. It's a little bit of a weird time to be a performance car person because there are so many shifts happening in the industry right now. Anything from the way dealerships are doing business, that business model, it is evolving. Obviously, the types of power plants we're getting in our cars, those are evolving. There are a lot of controversies out there. The prices of cars have gone crazy. I mean, there's just a lot happening right now. And about 4 months ago, I put out a poll on my channel asking everybody, hey, who is going to be the leader of the American performance car market going into 2024 and beyond? And the results were a little bit interesting. So today I want to share those with you and talk a little bit about what we're going to see moving into 2024 and possibly beyond, and who I feel like might be the leader of the American performance car market. So it should be a lot of fun. Also, only 22% of you guys at home are subscribed to my channel. So please do me a big, gigantic favor. Please hit the subscribe button. You can find that down here in the corner, and off we go.
T-minus 15 seconds.
Now, really quick, before we get too far into the video, just another quick reminder about my petition out there on change.org regarding dealer markup. The insane dealer markup we're seeing right now, is it right? Well, I don't think so. That's why I did the petition. And we are on our way to 50,000 signatures on this thing. Please make sure, if you have not signed it already, that you go do so and share it with as many people as you can. We are starting to see some things change already. We'll just have to kind of keep pushing. So make sure you sign that petition, and on we go with the video. So for the 2023 model year, we're going to see all three of the big automotive manufacturers from the U.S. continue to offer internal combustion as sort of their main offering when it comes to performance cars. And of course, we know things will change quite a bit going into 2024. And we've got a couple of pretty cool models coming out for 2023. So we'll talk about each individual manufacturer. We'll talk a little bit about Tesla. Obviously, they're the new kids on the block, also an American car manufacturer, but only do EVs. So there's a lot of stuff to cover today. So I'm going to jump into the different manufacturers, and then I want to give you my final thoughts. Now, for those of you that have been following my channel for a while, you realize that I try to be pretty unbiased in my reviews of things, in my assessment of things, and I just am a true enthusiast all around. A lot of people will say, oh, he's just a Mopar, he's just a Mustang guy, or not at all. I mean, I've owned a whole bunch of GM cars. I mean, 4 Corvettes, a Trans Am, a GTO, a Camaro, all that stuff. Of course, I've also owned a Hellcat and a Scatpack. Heck, I've owned an STI. I've had 2 Mustangs. I've had a lot of different things. So I try and just be factual about everything that I tell you guys. And when I put that poll out about, hey, going into 2023 and 2024, going down into the future, who will be the most successful American car manufacturer? It was really strange because like 47% of people, vast majority, said that Mopar was going to be the most successful. Now, mind you, this was prior to their Speed Week unveilings, which a lot of people were very underwhelmed with. And this was also prior to the unveiling of the S650 Mustang from Ford, who a lot of people seem to really like. And I'd be curious to see if I put that exact same poll out, if everybody would have the same opinion or if it would have shifted a little bit. Also, I realize a lot of my followers are Mopar people because that's how I started my channel. So I know a lot of you watching at home would say Mopar, but do a lot of people really feel like that Mopar is going to be the most successful brand moving forward? I really do feel like the tables have turned a little bit. Now, first, I want to talk about Chevrolet, because Chevrolet has changed the face of what they're doing quite a bit over the last couple of years. We know they came out with the C8 Corvette, and that was kind of a big hit, first mid-engine Corvette, and it was very, very popular when it first came out, and then, of course, COVID hit, and that kind of made everything a bit weird, but they advertised that car starting at $64,000, which a lot of people were really excited, and some were very surprised about. But come to find out, by the time you put engines and a seat in the thing, and then of course the dealerships are done gouging you, you're at $100 grand, sometimes even for a 1LT. And, you know, that is really out of reach for the vast majority of people out there. And yes, they're still making them. We're going to see them all the way into 2023 and so on. Now, of course, they have released the Z06 model. A lot of times those are starting to come out and you're starting to see, you know, content on that from some other YouTubers, and people are just now starting to get their hands on them, but it's very, very difficult. A lot of bigger YouTubers, bigger than myself for sure, got pushed back to 2023. We all know what happened with my allocation that I had a deposit on for 2.5 years. So the Z06, for the vast majority of people, is going to be basically impossible to get. And really, I mean, unless you're willing to spend 6 figures, the Corvette is maybe not a very good option for you. They have gotten so incredibly expensive on the Corvette, it is just out of reach for most people. That's the truth of it. Now let's talk a little bit about the Camaro. And this is the one that is just sort of a bummer to me, because in 2023, we'll still see the Camaro. And then, of course, it's supposed to go the way of the wind. And that really does suck, because I actually really like the Camaro. I used to own a Camaro, as I mentioned. And I just think they're great cars. And there's a lot of people that own Camaros. And that was just the more affordable, the more reachable performance car for the Chevrolet, or not even just the Chevrolet lovers, but just for enthusiasts in general. The Camaro has always been a little more in reach, certainly, than the Corvette. And it attracted a little bit younger crowd, all that kind of stuff. And I think we're really going to miss the Camaro. Yes, I've seen the grumblings about it coming out as an EV. I have not been able to substantiate that whatsoever. And a lot of people would be up in arms about that Camaro going to an EV. And that's the truth of it. And so ever since the Camaro came out back in the 60s, it has been just a very popular, beloved car. So it's really hard to see the Camaro just going away completely. And of course, Chevy tried some other things, right? They tried the SS. They tried the SSR, right? Which is kind of that little truck looking thing. They've tried numerous different things. A lot of that stuff just simply didn't work. And then, of course, we even saw GM put out like we had the Trans Am, of course, way back in the day, but then they put out the GTO back in 04 to 06. It just looked like kind of a pissed off Cavalier. And then, of course, that one went away as well. It just didn't really resonate with a lot of people. And so now we're left with really just one thing, right? One offering from Chevrolet when it comes to performance vehicles. And that is really a huge bummer. And that one thing is basically not going to be in reach. And yes, I realize they're going to come out with like an E-Ray. And then you've got like the ZR1 and the Zora on the horizon. And you've got some other things. And of course, those are going to be even harder to get than the Z06 is. And even if you just want a regular Stingray C8, get in line, because they're just almost impossible to get for anything under 6 figures. And it's really tough to be a Chevy fan right now. And yeah, so once 2024 hits, where are we with Chevrolet if you're the average person? Now I want to talk about Dodge. Yes, this is the one that everybody picked to be kind of the company that was going to bring us into the future, have the most success. And then, of course, we saw Speed Week just a couple of months back. I brought it to you live, as many of you know. And we saw them unveil the Banshee, which is their brand new EV for 2024. And we saw them basically give us a bunch of other little bitty things. Now, of course, they gave us the Hornet, which is not meant for your average muscle car person. The fact that they even branded that really as a muscle car, or part of the brand of muscle, so to speak, or the Brotherhood of Muscle, however you want to term it. A lot of people were really just up in arms about the Hornet as well. Now, I do understand the Hornet is very important for the brand. I put out videos about this, in the fact that, yeah, we need the Hornet, because basically, the more Hornets they sell, the more cool stuff Dodge can give us. And Tim Kuniskis, the CEO, has mentioned that at length, is like, look, let's get some butts and some seats on the Hornet. We're going to give it really good MPG and then, of course, we're going to give you some hybrid options down there and all that sort of stuff. And after 2023, we're only going to have electric in terms of muscle cars, which is really kind of upsetting a lot of people. And then for the 2023 model year, they gave us basically 6 sticker packages, if you will. They're called special edition cars. Very, very hard to get. Dealers are going to gouge the ever-living crap on people on the 2023 special edition cars. Like on the Hellcats, 300 units apiece, guys. They're going to be almost impossible to attain. And even on the Scat Pack variants, 1,000, they're just going to be really hard to get. And I'm told they just really can't commit to building any more cars than that. And that's where we are. And of course, now the order banks were supposed to open this month in October for the 2023s, which is your last hurrah to get a big Hemi V8. And whether it's supercharged or not, they've made no bones about the fact that it's going away. And now we're in this like weird situation where they're going to push the order dates back, and maybe it may be December now before the order banks open for those. And then don't count on them being able to fulfill your order. Demand is going to be very, very high. This is for the non-special edition stuff. So if you love the big Hemi V8s, you got to try and get in line early, get to the order banks almost immediately when they open. So just continue to call the dealer. But it's really a weird time to be a Dodge person. So what does the future really hold if you do love Mopar and Dodge? Well, you better like electric stuff, because the company has basically made no bones about the fact that the new performance, the new e-muscle, whatever you want to, however you want to coin it, they are completely changing the face of what they feel like a muscle car is, which is completely contradictory to what a lot of people out there watching this video feel a muscle car really should be. So it's kind of like a huge leap of faith they're taking right here. They're hoping that people will eventually come around to the fact that the new Dodge Charger Daytona Banshee, and it's 9 different power levels they say it's going to have, 6 of which are through direct connection. It's a whole nother way of doing business. It's really strange how they're doing all that. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're at. So you've got the Charger out there. It looks like the Challenger is going to go away. So you got the Camaro going away from Chevy. You've got the Challenger, looks like it's going to go away from Dodge. It's just really weird. And of course, the Charger is going to live, but it's going to be an EV. So, and Lord knows how expensive that's going to be. Hopefully in the base trim, it's somewhat affordable for some people. But then again, I think a lot of the core enthusiasts that love Dodge do not like EVs. I mean, that's kind of the anti-Dodge thing, right? Dodge is always known for big horsepower, tire shredding, you know, V8s and all that sort of stuff. I mean, that's basically what Dodge has made themselves out to be. Now, this is a huge step in the opposite direction, regardless of whether external things are happening with the EPA and the current administration and all that stuff. I mean, it is just alienating a lot of the brand loyal enthusiasts. And so, yeah, I mean, where does that leave us with Dodge? It's a weird place. Now let's talk about Ford. And there really has been a huge change in the way that people view Ford. And there's a lot of people out there that love both Chevy and Mopar that are now saying, you know what, I might take a harder look at Ford, because now we've seen them unveil their S650 Mustang. And no, it is not a true EV. Yes, they did come out with the Mach-E. Ford invested billions of dollars in electric technology and the EV technology, all that kind of stuff. They're building new plants, all that sort of stuff. We saw the F-150 Lightning come out. That's all electric. And there's huge demand for it. A lot of people say, well, that's a huge mistake, but there's huge demand for it. But they managed to stick with the V8. And so, yes, so did Chevy and the Corvette, right? But then again, like I said, it's so expensive, almost nobody can get them, and they can't produce hardly any units of them. And now all of a sudden we have the S650. Still has a Coyote in it. It makes a little bit more power, probably somewhere around 480 is what they're guessing that car is going to be. We don't know 100%, but that's basically what it's going to be. And then they showed us a special edition of it called the Dark Horse, which everybody seems to be relatively pleased with at this juncture. Twin intakes. There's a lot of neat things on the car. Probably right around 500 horsepower, naturally aspirated, fire-breathing V8, and they are giving it to us for the 2023 model year in maybe late 2023. But Ford is going to be really the only game in town when it comes to affordable or somewhat affordable. I realize that is a subjective term, but when it comes to somewhat affordable V8 offerings. And then, of course, they've got rumblings that they may even come out with a Shelby-type offering that has the 7.3-liter Godzilla engine in it that is twin-turboed. Lord knows how much power that thing would make, but wouldn't that be a cool offering? But Ford has basically stuck to their roots, stuck to their guns, and somehow they've been able to say, hey, look, we still want to make the V8 and we're going to do it. So it's a little weird to see. And we know why Chevy did it, right? I mean, the Camaro just wasn't selling, and that's the truth of it. And they're still going to be putting out fire-breathing V8s in the Vet. They're just going to be hard to get. With Ford, they're going to be putting out a butt ton of these Mustang GTs. They're going to be fun to drive. They've got a terrific transmission. The Dark Horse, even in the manual, they're going to keep the manual alive, and that's going to come with the Tremec straight out of the GT350, which is a fantastic 6-speed manual car. The 10 speeds are good. So, you know, I'm not just trying to sound super pro Ford here, but we have to kind of look to see if you are a big fan of a V8 performance muscle car, sports car, however you want to term it. Ford looks like they're going to be the most affordable option for you. So Ford really did put their cards on the table, so to speak. I mean, they basically told us a lot about what this S650 is going to have, and a lot of people are really excited that they can still get an American V8 in the next several years. So Ford is going to continue to do that for us, and hopefully at a price that's about half of what you could get a Corvette for. Now, there is the after dealer markup thing that is always going to be present, so we just have to be realistic about that. Now, that leaves the door open for Dodge to come in. I've already talked about it at length. If they get enough EPA credits, maybe they could come back in and introduce another V8. That would be very, very cool, but we just don't know yet. They got to sell a ton of Hornets and some other stuff that get great gas mileage before they're going to be able to do something like that. And then there's going to be revamping the factory, and we just don't know if that's even going to be in the realm of possibilities. And Chevy, I mean, could Chevy come back out with something like a V8 that we would all love, a new designed, whatever it may be, and make it more affordable than the Corvette? Is that going to happen? I don't see it happening. There's no rumors and anything going on, you know, even in that spectrum. So yeah, I mean, if it's just the Corvette and a bunch of EVs running around out there, it's so strange, but the door is wide open for those other two to come in with their own V8, a new design, and do really well. But is it feasible? So I really just wanted to make this video just to kind of get some people thinking about maybe how things had changed over the course of the last 3 or 4 months. People's perceptions, what we've seen offered out there, what we know is coming down the pipe. It is a very dynamic thing, the car market right now, and it continues to change almost on a daily basis. But like I said, I would really be interested to see, if I put that poll out again, how things have changed. Now, I didn't talk about Tesla either. And of course, if you love EVs, then maybe Tesla is a great option for you. We know they don't do internal combustion stuff, but they've been doing the EV thing very successfully, I might add, for quite some time. And of course, they've got some other cool stuff coming down the pipe if you like that, because obviously we've got the Roadster on the horizon, which will be unbelievably fast. We've got the Plaid and even your Model 3 Performances and stuff. I mean, they're just really fast cars. It'll be interesting to see how the Banshee compares to that stuff when it finally comes out, how fast it will be in the various trim levels and all that sort of stuff. And of course, they did try to make that car unique in terms of some world firsts with the donut mode and all the other stuff that they added to that car. But is it just gimmicky? It really depends on who you ask. So, and then of course, we will see more EVs from Chevrolet as well. We can fully expect Ford to continue down that EV path, but at least they're giving us V8s for the time being. And I still love the Corvette, guys. I do want to mention that. I'm just kind of fed up with GM in terms of just the dealer practices that they're allowing right now after telling us they weren't going to allow it, all that sort of stuff. We do see Ford stepping in the right direction on their new e-business cars, so to speak, or their electric cars, because they are now very serious about setting the pricing on that to where dealers cannot gouge people, which I love. Chrysler has recently come out and kind of tried to do the same sort of thing with their 300C, so we have that piece of it. Everything is moving right now, guys. It is really kind of crazy. But yeah, I mean, in my mind, I think that if you love a big burbly V8 and you want something more affordable, the Mustang is going to be a very attractive choice for you. Or you may have to go with, say, like an older car because, yeah, I mean, they're just not going to be producing a lot of these. But I would love to know what you guys think about all this in the comments down below. Really, there's a lot of things to discuss, a lot of different opinions out there. And what does the future hold for us as consumers in the American sports car or performance segment? I would love to hear your comments on it. Comment down below, and I'll catch you on the next one. So until then, Racer X.